You're tuned in to Repco Muscle Garage, the home of New Zealand's toughest muscle cars, hot rods and street machines. Proudly brought to you by Repco, in association with Mount Shop, Maguire's and Rislone. Later, we check out two amazing cars that truly epitomise the best of American muscle. But first, thanks to Rislone, we're at Napa Auto Parts Dragway, otherwise known as Meremere, New Zealand's OG drag racing mecca, as the crews celebrate a pretty momentous occasion.
Today is the 50th anniversary of Meremere Dragway. 50 years ago in April, we opened the track. We've had 3 days of celebrations and celebrate the people, the Ray Petersons, the Ralph Wrights, who built this track 50 years ago.
We had a Friday night get-together, a Saturday night sort of a awards or sort of a night of remembrance, and then today is bringing some people down here and the unveiling of the Napa Funny Car.
So a special weekend in the life of a special destination for Kiwi race fans. And that seemed like an appropriate moment to reflect on its significant place in our automotive history. Ralph Wright has been a huge part of New Zealand's hot rod scene since it first roared into life. He's also a founding member of the Pukekohe Hot Rod Club, the organisation that established Meremere in the first place. So he was there when it all began.
The New Zealand Hot Rod Association and Auckland Hot Rod Club started running some drags on a clay-based strip at Kopuku, and we went out to support that, and then we started building cars for it or buying cars for it. When Kopuku got shut down, everything went dead, and everyone was looking around, where can we get a drag strip? We've got to go faster. It eventuated from there to a road closure at Kerrs Road, where we ran 6 meetings once a month with big crowds for those days, and the cars started going faster and faster, particularly having a tar seal surface to get traction and that.
Kerrs Road got closed down because someone crashed and burned there, and they decided to look around for some land.
We got a call from a Mr. Len Rankin that had wasteland really at Meremere, and we took one look at it, covered in tea tree, and we thought, oh, but we had no option. We'd been everywhere trying to find that much land. It was just not procurable.
Resident farmer Len Rankin was a key figure in those early days. A keen racing fan, he generously offered earth-moving services alongside the land to get things moving. But obviously, the Pukekohe Club also needed something else to turn their ambitious drag racing vision into reality.
They sold the benches and raised money. They did bottle drives and house removals and demolitions to raise money.
Finally, after surmounting endless logistical and financial challenges, with plenty of debt still to contend with down the track, they were ready for their opening meeting on April 23rd, 1973. With punters and the media coming out in force, even if the weather gods didn't quite play ball.
The opening of the drag strip was massive.
Motorway was chock-a-block from Bombay down to here, and a lot of people couldn't get in, but we managed to have a reasonably good day in the rain.
Watching Peter Lodge with his supercharged Fiat run down the track made all the work and the tears and the worry worthwhile. Just one big, loud run made it all worthwhile. We were blessed with the fact it was a new sport, and the crowd attendance then we'll never see it again, because it was something new, something exciting.
Some of the original shots of this facility in the hill was full of people. It was like, this sport's going to go off, and it did.
Eventually we sort of grew bigger and bigger, flasher pits, better timing light, bigger crowds and that, so it was quite a successful drag strip.
Since that fateful day, Meremere has been the stage for countless world-class drivers. So, thanks to Maguire's, we had to ask, who stood out?
There's been so many over 50 years, but I'd have to pick out my 3 that I think: Garth Hogan, number 1, Mike Gearing, number 2, and Pete Lodge, number 3. Garth did a huge amount for the sport here and overseas.
I suppose in the early days, Garth Hogan would be the guy that stepped up and, with his connections with America, imported a lot of American technology and built a nitro-burning supercharged dragster here. Well, there was other New Zealand guys doing the same thing, but he was probably a bit more competitive than they were.
Oh, Mike Gearing, my old mate, he was there.
Very clever guy that could get the best out of something without spending much.
Peter Lodge, he's a legend.
Way before his time, it was really his little car that made people sit up and say, wow, is that what drag racing is? It's a little Fiat Topolino with a supercharged Chrysler Hemi motor, and I'll bet you wouldn't want to sit in it. It'd frighten the pants off you.
Ivan Genovich, Gary Taylor, Graham Berry, of course. Don't forget that old guy.
Chris Tynan, Rat Attack. Yeah, he started off.
He came from the street and ended up in Wild Bunch and then ended up in Top Door Slammer.
Barry Plumpton in later years now, been the fastest door car in New Zealand.
Another one's Ross Taylor, Hub Roberts. There's just too many to mention, really. Just absolutely too many to mention.
Of course, crowds have also witnessed endless highlights as class records were constantly smashed and history made among the ever-present noise, smoke and speed.
The fastest time ever run in New Zealand was done here by the Marsh team. It's into the fours at, I think, over 300 mile an hour. Now, to see something like that, it's like, bloody hell, you know. You've virtually got to go to Australia to see something like that. And it happens here, you know, so fantastic.
I guess the first season was a great one. And of course, the social occasion. Those prize giving, you can't forget those prize giving.
Another personal highlights for me is the personal best. Barry Plumpton, the first 5-second door car. That's my highlights. I mean, I get off on that because I see the smiles on these guys getting these milestones. And they did it on Merry Merry.
Yep, there really have been too many magic Meri memories to mention. But from driver protection through to evolving trends, change has also come thick and fast. And the behind-the-scenes team have routinely altered things to take advantage of the shifting automotive sands. One eye always fixed on the road ahead.
In the early years, it was build something in your garage, away you go racing. Not a lot of rules, pretty relaxed. Over time, I think our biggest thing is health and safety. The cars, the gear that the people wear, it's just gone from one extreme to the other, which is really good because you see some big crashes and they get out, they walk out of them.
The Night Speed Drag Wars has been a real fantastic from an operational and a financial situation. And they were causing trouble in Queen Street and all that sort of drama. And they say, oh, we've got nowhere to race, you know. So we thought, or they thought, let's open a track at night on a Friday night. And it was unbelievable. I think about the second season we started, I think we had over 5,000 young people here.
The streetcar scene is really growing in the last 5 years. Basically following America, street outlaw sort of thing. And that's the growth in the sport at the moment.
Yeah, I can't understand why these boy racers got to tear up the tarmac out in the street somewhere. Come down here and do your wheelies. Do your burnout here.
The junior dragster thing is the other thing we've developed here. We were the first people in the world to develop a junior dragster class, believe it or not, before America.
I started racing mainly because my mum used to race, so she used to race her car, but the first ever junior dragster was her cousin's car, so I had to keep the tribute on. I've been here before I was even born, so my mum used to race with me in her stomach, and I used to just sleep in the back of the trailer in my cot, so I've been here all my life pretty much. The car's running really well thanks to my crew chief, David, and yeah, it's a really good car. I enjoy it. When I go out of this, I will definitely race my street car. I'll definitely buy one and race it, but I will never leave Merry. I'll be here all my life.
Beyond junior drags, another genre now enjoying massive cult appeal is the nostalgia scene, as evidenced by the potential funny car legend in the making being unveiled during the anniversary weekend.
This is an Outlaw Nostalgia Nitro funny car. This one here is modelled off Graham Cowan from Aeroflow and Sydney's cars. Well, me and Kevin Gubb, who main instigators of building this car, we've been drag racing together on and off for 50 years pretty much. And when this came along, we said, well, what better way to finish off your retirement than playing with Nitro? That's the pinnacle of drag racing. So it's a brand new chrome moly frame. It's worldwide SFI spec. It's got an engine, it's 413 cubic inches. It's got a billet aluminium block, billet heads, little field blower. That engine in that car has run a 5.8 in the quarter mile at 250 miles an hour. So that's our goal, is to run a 5-second pass at 250 miles an hour. Our first outing will probably be in early January. The problem with these cars is the track has to be really, really good. Otherwise you can be into the wall as quick as that. So there's only about 3 meetings that you can go to, which is what we want to do. Hopefully get to the other end. there will be some nerves involved there, I'm sure. You just got to learn to respect the car because they have a mind of their own at times.
Mere Mere really is an enduring icon. But running New Zealand's premier drag strip still comes with plenty of challenges. Unsurprisingly, many financial.
I've faced a lot of challenges. First and foremost, the strip was built on a swamp. Nothing is stable, so from time to time it's got to be torn to pieces and rebuilt.
Every season brings with it running costs and constant uphill battles. So how has the track still managed to survive and thrive after all these years?
Purely and simply because of the massive voluntary work that is done down there. There's only one paid person that runs the drag strip and everything else is voluntary, and without it, it couldn't exist unless it had people volunteering to do all the work, from safety crews to timing gear to staging, the whole 9 yards.
We've got Dixie on crash crew, and he's been here 50 years on crash crew. Terry Doherty, he's been in pits, he's done a few roles, and 50 years later, he's still here as a volunteer. You tell me how many organisations say they have a volunteer that's been there for 50 years?
You get to a stage where you can't handle the workload anymore, and other people have stepped up, made it their lifetime task, really. Very proud of those people. Far too many to name.
It's the people that makes this place special. Without any one of those lots of people, this place would never have lasted 50 years. Probably wouldn't have lasted 2 years.
Beyond the people, there's one other secret to Mere Mere's ongoing success. If you want to truly satisfy that nagging need for speed, this is the place to race.
You've got to drive down the drag strip to appreciate how it gives you that adrenaline rush. It's something that happens then, and once a person does it once, they can't stop, and they want to go faster and faster.
Well, you've got to be in the car to know what it feels like. It was just like brute power.
Best feeling in the world. Can't beat the horsepower.
Oh, I get so excited. It's so much fun racing, especially when you see the win light on the board. It's an adrenaline rush and it's heaps of fun. I love it. I would recommend it to everyone and anyone. It's so much fun.
So here's to 50 years of speed. Clearly, for anyone who's spent quality time at Mere Mere's hallowed quarter mile, the drivers, the crew, the sponsors, the spectators, it's been one hell of a ride.
It's a big family here. Everyone enjoys themselves.
I mean, if you look around you, the seating, the trees, the hills, the viewing, it's perfect. And these things are coming past you at 250 mile an hour. It's a big buzz.
I also believe we're a great enabler for this region here, and this is what we do here. And of course, in 1970, this was a bit of nowhere, you know.
People said to us, why did you build at Mere Mere? It's too far away, people won't come. Well, now with the growth of the city of Auckland and the city of Hamilton, it's right slap bang in the middle, and everyone's going there for every sort of thing like the circuit racing and burnout racing, all that sort of thing.
The money's there, the kids are there, and everybody want to go racing these days. It's like in their blood.
And it's just a great place to race. It's the only place to race. It's the best track in the country, and may it continue.
It is a long time and it has got a spirit there. I went down to a function there about 4 months ago, and it really was the place to be. You got a feeling. They brought down Valu, the old Peter Lodge's car, and fired it up and a few things like that, and everyone there looked at each other and said, yes, this is the Holy Grail.
Protection of hybrid ceramic.
Whoa.
Now in 3 easy-to-use products. In original spray wax, now as a liquid wax, and a spray detailer. Meguiar's hybrid ceramic family with advanced SiO2 technology. Meguiar's, ceramic made easy.
Rizlone has been in engines almost as long as engines have been in cars. Why? Because from then until now, there's never been a perfectly clean fuel. This means every time you fill up, you're adding pollutants and contaminants to your fuel system. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner can cure those woes and help save your engine. Rizlone Fuel Injector Cleaner adds an upper cylinder lubricant, providing double the cleaning power out of the same bottle. We know something about aging well, so when we say it's your engine's fountain of youth under a screw top, you can count on it. Rizlone is the original engine tune-up. Available at participating stores near you.
Welcome back to Repco Muscle Garage. Now, thanks to our mates at the Mount Shop, we're in West Auckland, back at Chopper's workshop, to take a look at two projects that truly epitomise the best of American muscle. This brutal 1970 Buick Skylark and this almost completed 1966 Pontiac GTO, which with Chopper's help has absolutely gone to the next level. They belong to Daryl Ingham, who's had a lifelong love for cars sparked in equal measure by Bo and Luke and a misspent youth.
We all grew up with cars, V8s. It was back in the days when there weren't certs, so we were dropping V8s into anything we could and didn't have to worry about it. It was great fun. Shows like Dukes of Hazzard came out, just growing up young, stupid, and hooning around.
Eventually, he started getting into it all pretty seriously and found he had a bit of a knack for picking them.
I was able to pick what was the next car was going to increase in value because that first generation Mustang or Camaro was suddenly unattainable, so it was the second generation, the third generation. So I was very fortunate to get myself into the cars I have.
And both those cars, starting with this tough Buick Streeter, really are a sight to behold.
So it's a 1970 Buick Skylark. It's a GSX clone. That particular colour, which is fire red, didn't come out to 71, which I think looks a lot better. The red just sticks out, just really appeals to me. That car belonged to a very good friend of mine, Brad Vere. He takes full credit for that car. Everything you see in that car, he did, and that's what made the car what it is today. And I was always envious of the Buick. It got to the point where I knew Brad wasn't going to part with it anytime soon unless he got something pretty special, which he did. He got something very, very nice. And I said, I want first option on that Buick, mate. And he says, all right, done. On a trailer in my driveway. At the moment, it's got a 496 Blueprint Chevy in it. So it was the last of the 480 horse models. They discontinued them and downgraded them to about 450, I think. And turbo 400 trans, 9-inch diff, it's been narrowed, ladder bar rear. It's just the standard discs up front, power assisted, drums on the back, power steering. The gearbox hasn't been manualised or anything like that. You can literally just put it in drive and cruise down the street. And it's a beautiful car to drive.
Sure, the Buick may be tidy as it stands, but Daryl's still planning to put his stamp on it too, roping in the services of infamous mechanical maestro Mike Barry in the process.
The plans are to put a 4-link in the rear of it, possibly put something like a hydraulic roller, something a little bit more oomph up the front. Some coilovers in the front just to make it handle better, just a bit nicer street car. Possibly put an overdrive gearbox in it. Mike Barry's done a bit of work on it already, just as I said, personalised it and done a few things. And Chopper's going to put his touch to it. And what am I saying? It's never going to be finished. Not just a Buick, it's that particular Buick. It's the way Brad finished that car. The tyres are perfect, the rims are perfect, the colour is perfect. The decals, that whole 70s, it was almost garish, some of that sort of stuff. Suits that period, you know, it's a great feeling driving the car, just love it.
You quickly realise this is an embarrassment of riches when you take one look at the GTO Daryl and Chopper have been working on. A pro street-style monster that appropriately needed a pretty monstrous amount of work to get to such pristine status.
Where I got to buying the GTO and how I ended up with it was about 2009. So it was the era when the NZV8 magazine was pushing pro street. You know, there's the big fat tyres and the huge engines, and it looked like race cars on the street type of thing, and I had to be part of that scene. Every panel has been replaced on it, apart from that grille, the left sill and the boot lid. It hasn't been dipped, it's not a chassis off restoration, it's completely new panels. All the chrome work, every single nut, bolt, clip, badge has been replaced. It's got a fuel-injected Pontiac engine. That's why I wanted to keep it pure. So it's a Butler Performance built engine, fuel-injected 535 cubic inch. It's very, very drivable. The vision of this car, how it ended up and from where it started, very, very differently now. It's just so nice now. I look at it, it's almost like, you look at the colour, it's like a semi-precious gem. I mean, so you put the car in a different light, you don't know if it's green, if it's blue, and you just look right into that colour. It's just amazing. Will I take the car on the track? I think I will, yeah. I sort of be rude not to come this far. It's set up for it. Chopper's done his bit and Mike Berry's done his bit with it. It should do a high 9. Good driver, perfect track, star alignment.
And unquestionably, this automotive art couldn't have been possible without the help of Chopper and the team. And it's clear they've got a great working relationship with Daryl.
We instantly clicked. I just saw some of his handiwork just walking in and looking around and that, and just turned out to be one of those guys that was just a talented, good bastard. He saw the lines and something a little bit different, and he just rubbed his hands together and says, "I want to get my hands dirty with this. Let's go."
So, with one amazing build basically completed and some Buick tweaks next on the list, Daryl's got a bit of wisdom to pass on to those considering heading on a similar journey.
Always get a good team around you. It's about being someone you can relatable, you can talk to and just chat about, and that's being on the same wavelength. Mike Berry, Chopper, those are my go-to guys every time.
And it's fair to say there aren't many drivers out there more passionate about American muscle.
A muscle car, when I go into the garage, it's like an assault on the senses. You see it, you smell it, you hear it, you feel it. It's just going my happy place. I mean, look at these cars. You know, it's addictive. You see it and you just go, God, I just love cars. And there's days I go, God, I hate cars. They give you so much pain and stress, and you go, why am I doing this? Then you see the outcome and you go, it was worth it.
Feel like your car could do with some TLC? Well, thanks to our series sponsors, we could be hooking you up with this incredible prize pack. For a start, there's a huge Maguire's and Rislone complete car care pack valued at over $760. We've also thrown in this unbelievable Mech Pro Blue 248-piece toolkit with 3-drawer chest valued at $566. To stay on top of everything underneath, there's a $500 Mount Shop voucher. And last but not least, you'll also score a year's subscription to NZ V8 magazine. That's a total prize pool of nearly $2,000. To enter, just head over to nzv8.co.nz and hit the Muscle Garage link on the homepage. The winner will be drawn at the end of the series, so make sure you get amongst, because this prize pack is one major haul. Good luck. Repco Muscle Garage was proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. Mount Shop Undercar Specialists. Maguire's, people who love cars love Maguire's. And Rislone, high performance additives for high performance vehicles.